we are very, very close to finalizing my positioning, my campaign in the 2016 elections. They are not yet finalized now, and because these discussions involve not only myself but also members of the Nacionalista Party. I do not want to preempt any decisions that the party will be making. So, you know, ang decision naman talaga pagka national election, national kampanya, it always involves the discussions with the party. Dahil hindi ka naman makatakbo ng national na walang dalang partido. So it's very important that the parties are also involved in the discussion. So that's why since we have not finalized, the Nacionalista Party has not finalized its position for the 2016 election, then that my place amongst the party members is also something that we are not yet ready to announce. So I have to ask for your patience. Pero I can promise you this, malapit na. Malapit na. Ano naman yan? 27.
Tomorrow, Sen.
Ha? Ano?
Balita ko, bukas daw magdidinig.
Marami rin akong balita. Balita ko ngayon eh. Balita ko kahapon. Balita ko bukas. Balita ko. Puro balita. Hindi galing sa atin.
Any deadline for your decision? When are you making your decision? Any deadline? Because the filing is October 12.
Yes, I know. That's why we are quite aware of the dates that are involved. That's why this is going. That's why we are, as I said, presently discussions amongst different groups, different individuals. But we have not yet finalized how we are going to what we are going to do in the next election.
Sir, ang the three of you po, yung si Senator Joyan, sino po sir ang mangunguna? Tsaka paano nyo susunod yung magbubutuhan pa kayong tatlo sa
Sinong nangunguna sa akin? No, you're asking me, sa tatlo sa amin, sinong nangunguna? What do you mean by nangunguna?
No sir, sa inyo pong among the three of you sir, sino po yung, among the three of you, who do you think is the most winnable?
You will have to tell me that. Hindi naman ako because of course, but we are still hoping that the party will choose one. I think that's probably the best situation for us dahil mahirap na maghati-hati ako. Ayoko sa mahati-hati ang partido. I would rather prefer that we are united. That is the strength of the Nacionalista Party. As I said before, it is not the biggest party, but it is the most cohesive one. And we hope to keep it that way. So that again is a decision that the party leadership, which I am a member, will have to make.
Kung sino man sir yung hindi mapili, hindi manalo sa MP.
You have to ask them. I cannot answer for
Kayo po hindi.
the Senator. I don't have any intention of I would rather talaga siyempre, kagaya ng sabi ko, hindi ka makatakbo sa national na walang partido. So that my party has been, and since 2009 has been the Nacionalista Party.
So definitely po, you are running for a high position.
Well, sa ngayon, that's all yun ang pinag-uusapan. The Senate still remains, of course, it still remains an option, and I might still take up that option. But right now, we are talking about higher position.
Sir, you're close to finalizing mga ilang percent na po yun for the higher position.
I do not understand the question about percentage. It's not a question of percent. You know, when people say percent, ibig sabihin may pinagtutunguan. If that's what you want to do, just do it, but percent pa. So that's right. It's really trying to keep trying to determine. Yeah, don't worry, I'll get to you. I'll answer all of your questions. I'm not going to leave here until you're completely answered. All the different elements, pinag-aaralan ko, ano ba talaga, sino ang gagawin ito, sino sasama saan, sino. So, as you can see, this is an unusual election. Dahil kahit yung administrasyon, hindi pa buo. Wala pang buo. Tapos yesterday, nag-rally na whatever you want to call it, march, si Mayor Duterte. So, another undetermined variable. Yun. So, kaya it's really coming down to the one. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to.
So, how will the NP party choose its candidates for higher office?
We may call a convention, but I think what we'll probably do is just call a meeting of the membership. I don't know if we will take a vote, but again, this would seem to be the most, yeah, I would say equitable, democratic way to determine it. So,
You mean convention?
I don't know. You'll have to. You ask our president first because I have been in touch with Senator Manny Villar. Of course, we are constantly in touch. So far, we have been. We are still trying to see if we are going to have a convention that we haven't decided.
Sir, you keep on mentioning NP, Nationalista Party. What about your former party, PDL?
I belong to the Nationalista Party.
Your father belonged to...
My father created the KBL, but the KBL has not. If you remember, that I have not been a member of the KBL for a long time. At some point, the leadership and I separated ways. So that's why I ended up with the Nationalista.
Sir, can you get your reaction about the issues coming out now because it's September and it's the martial law month? Marami po lumalabas na yung issues about those days. Can you get your reaction? And if ever na, kasi may mga negative impact doon, paano niyo po i-try na ano yung mga negative issues na lumalabas na? Never again at nakakagay mo kasi dito sa inquiries, never again.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising, but this has been the same thing that we have been hearing for 30 years now. So again, if I have to answer it, then I will answer it, but it doesn't really matter to me in the sense that there's nothing new to be said. They ask the same questions, I have the same answers. And so I will continue to do the same thing. If there are questions about that time, if I can answer it, I will answer it. But I think what the country really needs is a plan for the future, not a discussion of the past. The past is done, it's finished, it's decided. Now what? Tapos na yun eh. Nangyari na yun eh. And in fact, the government fell. So now we are here. We are here 30 years on. We need to move on and be discussing more what the problems are that we have today. What has happened since 1986? Pag-usapan natin. Because they want to examine the record. My father has examined their record since 1986 and see how it compares. But again, it's people ang mga Pilipino, kung tatanungin mo sila, anong pinaproblema nila, anong iniisip nila? Drugs, prices, trabaho, corruption, yung pa rin ang kanilang iniisip. So, yun ang dapat natin bigyan ng pansin.
Now, in looking at the future, Senator, you are posing for a seat to federalism.
Yes, well, there's one part of the there has been a rise in the push for federalism. So yes, that sounds something that we need to discuss. But it's clear that will not happen in this administration, because this administration has always put out the policy that they will not touch the Constitution.
But your advocacy of federalism, would that help you in your bid for
I
higher
am not
office?
a particular advocate for federalism. I am in agreement. I think that federalism is a system of government that we should study. and it is something that might provide some of the answers. But I have not campaigned for federalism. It's been Mayor Duterte who was campaigning for federalism. So, but as a matter of fact, that is going to be my that is going to be part of the discussion for this election. But again, it's not going to happen until after in the next administration, if ever.
Sir, do you feel and believe that yung solid north na sinasabi natin, especially for candidates seeking elective positions sa national, ay solid pa rin up to now?
Para sa inyo.
It depends on the candidate. I think I think the experience of the 2010 election, parang na-solid ulit yung solid north, na matagal nang hindi nagbumoto ng buo. I think that we were able to bring back that old we were able to unify once again the Ilocanos
So you-
to show that there is still solid north.
So you think, sir, you can count on the Ilocano, on the North Pole?
I'll put it this way: I don't want to, you don't assume anything in this, especially pag election. So I'm not assuming anything. I'm not counting on anything. I will work hard to gain the Ilocano vote. And I think it is, especially for me as a national candidate, the Ilocano vote is a very important point of support. That one of the lessons one learns in national politics. Mahirap manalo ng national position na wala kang paluarte. Wala naman akong ibang panggagalingan kundi sa
Sir,
Would you say, Senator, that the result of the senatorial elections when you ran and won an indication of how strong or how big the Ilocano vote?
Yes,
was resulted from?
exactly right. That's exactly what I mean. It was kasi for a while wala na yung Ilocano vote. Hindi nag-unify ang Ilocano behind any candidate. Pero noong 2010 naramdaman natin na nagkaroon ng unity ulit ng Ilocano. So that was an important part of my campaign in 2010.
Please tell us a little about the result as far as the solid road is concerned.
Exactly. But the result indicates that we were able to unify once again the Ilocano vote in 2010. So I am hoping to go back to the well, we always talk about Northern Luzon, pero ang Ilocano nagkalat na eh.
Yeah.
Hindi na lang Northern Luzon. So but we talk about the Ilocano vote. So I'm hoping to again ask and hope to get the support of Ilocanos. But of course, the Philippines does not comprise only of Ilocos. It comprises of many. It is comprised of many places. So that will be just the beginning. We will have to go and get support from everywhere else.
Thank you.
Sir, if ever po you will be the running mate to Vice President Pinay, sir, how would you feel about being closely working with somebody who worked against your family?
Maybe you should ask him that. Because he was the one who first made the proposal that I ran with him. So I suppose we return to the expression that politics makes for strange bedfellows. That instance would be a perfect example of that.
Is it between Kobe and Duterte and Vice President? Sino po sir ang loves nyo?
Let's wait. Let's wait for the. It's not fair to all of those that we are talking to be making pronouncements na hindi ko naman hindi pa namin napag-desisyonan. So I don't want to talk out of turn.
Sir Senator, Facebook po is flooded with pleas from your supporters na mag-run po kayo for president. What can you say po to sa mga staunch supporters po ninyo?
Well, what else can I say? But it is very heartening. Lagi naman siyempre na may ganyang klaseng suporta, may ganyang klaseng tiwala ang tao para sa akin. So of course I take that into account, and that is something that it is kasama yan sa usapan. Dahil siyempre sinasabi, maraming nagsasabing ganito. Yung iba nagsasabi ganito ang gawin mo. And it's good to know. That's why pinag-usapan natin ng support. At least meron dyan, may basis na pag sinasabi na may support na. So that is something that I am very grateful for. I'm very grateful for. And of course, it is something that we talk about and is included in the discussions to try to assess what's the best thing to do for the next election.
Sir, between po your father and your mother, kasi kanino po kayo nagmana intelligence or charm?
It's hard. You shouldn't ask me that. You should ask other people. Then mahirap mag-husga sa sarili. Di ba? I don't know. I don't know. Kasi, alam mo, ang totoo, nung bata ako, sinasabi, I'm more like my mother. Kapag tumatanda ako, sinasabi, I'm more like my father. That's not me. That's other people telling me. So, I suppose, ito malalapit sa amin. So, I guess that's what, it's an evolving thing.
You mean, sir, your father's charm, intelligence?
I don't know. It's just very. I don't really think about it very hard. All I know is that when people say, like when I was younger say you're like your mother. Now I'm a little older. They say you remind us of your father. So I guess nagbago rin. I don't know. Maybe because of nandito na ako sa politika, and I am taking after some of the things of my father. I don't know. It's hard to. It's not really. Again, it's not. You have to make the judgment. It's impossible for me to make the judgment for myself. Then I'm not naman looking. I don't watch myself.
Sir, kung ba may pera daw sa bibig kung sakali makapasa?
May pera sa.
Bibig.
Passage of
Sinong magsanggal? Kanino? Pera para kanino?
Ah,
Para sa Bangsamoro, may malaking pera.
may sinulat kasi si Carmen Pedrosa, yung columnist, na may lumapit daw sa kanyang banker. Sabi raw ng banker, may contact ba tayo kay President Aquino? Kasi there is money in BBL, sabi raw niya. Sabi raw ng banker kay...
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that.
Marami nang usok.
All I know is that naging issue sa Malaysia yung pera na ginamit para pagkampanya sa PPL. Yun lang ang alam ko. Tapos yung Chinese na nahuli na sinasabi, pero palagay ko hindi naman totoo yun. So I don't know anything about money for PPL.
What's its status of...
Because I'll tell you something, the BBL in its original version is dead. Walang pag-asang pumasa sa House, walang pag-asang pumasa sa Senado. So ang inaano lang na dinideliberate ngayon namin ay yung mga substitute bill kapalit.
The one you find.
The one I made, and there's one in the House also. Yes.
Sir,
But the one you
Robert
made-
Ortigosa from Northern Watch.
I'm sorry?
Northern Watch newspaper, sir.
Yes.
I got two questions. I heard that you're running for the vice presidency, but on the SWS survey, September 2 to 5, I saw your rank there. You got only 7%, while Escudero got 20%. But on the senatorial, I saw you're in the top 10. Is it not risky running for the vice presidency? Then you're a shoe-in in the senatorial.
Every campaign is a risk. You run for barangay captain, it's a risk. It's risky, but so I don't know. There's even senatorial is lahat naman yan, hindi naman wala namang tiyak yan eh.
So you have the moist eyes for the vice presidency.
I'm sorry.
You have the moist eyes for the vice presidency.
What is to do?
You have the interest to run for the vice presidency.
I have interest to run for higher office, as we have saying. We have been talking. That is what we have been talking.
Sir, lately I was watching Spratly Broha in Scarborough, and there were the 16 Pangasinan congressmen who who wrote a letter to the United Nations. And then I saw your statement there that you are for the bilateral agreement with the Chinese.
No. I am for the bilateral talks with the Chinese.
Yeah, bilateral talks with the Chinese.
Because for the first time in this entire situation, the Chinese have agreed to talk under the framework of international law, or the UNCLOS, which is something that they have never done before. Because nung nakaraan, they only talk about the 9-dash line. Now they're willing to talk about baselines under UN. That's new. Pero hindi rin na-recognize ng ating DFA. Hindi yata nalalaman kung gaano kalaking pagbabago ito. So we have continued to do nothing except make our case in the adjudication in the UN.
Because sir, the perception in the Philippines is that the Chinese could not be trusted. And one of the examples there is this Panatag Shoal Broaha, where when the BRP Pampanga left, the Chinese as agreed. They did not leave the place, and that's why Scarborough now, that Panatag Shoal now is being controlled by the Chinese.
Well, be that as it may, I still think we should talk to the Chinese. Or should we just doing nothing will not improve the situation. We have to do something. And I think the Chinese have given us even a small opening. And so I think we should take it. It's an opportunity. Let us start. I think a way to begin this discussion is mapag-usapan lang natin kung paano policy ng China at saka Pilipinas sa fishermen. Kasi bago nagkagulo ng ganito, yung mga mangingisda ng China at saka ng Pilipino, laging magkasama yan eh. They fish together. Pag natapos sila mag-fishing, they eat together. They go, nagkikita-kita sila. Walang problema. Ngayon nagkakaproblema, pwede ba natin ibalik muna doon sa dating sitwasyon? So, umpisa natin sa mga fishermen para maging, para naman yung mga tauhan natin na hindi nahihirapan, hindi nalalagay sa alangan. So, let's start from there. That's a small step. And then let's keep going and see. But we have to start somewhere. I'm not saying that if we meet with the Chinese under the UNCLOS, matatapos lahat ng problema natin. I'm not saying that. But we have to do something. We cannot, this situation cannot just be allowed to continue.
Thank you, sir. Why do you think, Senator, the government doesn't have the holding of bilateral talks?
I have always, I have never understood that policy. I don't agree with that policy. I think that we should try every way that we can. Formal talks, informal talks, basketball diplomacy, whatever kind of contact that we can have. You never know kung saan lalabas yung sagot, kung saan lilitaw yung solusyon.
All this must be.
So I think we can try. If we fail, then we will try again. But we cannot do nothing. We cannot do nothing.
There is absolutely no risk in trying it through bilateral talks.
Well, we are already in a terrible position. I think the only way that the situation will get worse kung magputukan na. Huwag na natin paabutin doon bago pa tayo makipag-usap sa kanila. Just because we are talking to them does not mean we accept everything that they say. The whole point of talking to them is to make very clear our position, to negotiate some kind of modus vivendi with the Chinese, especially in the protection of our territory, the protection of our nationals.
So we can put on record that you favor the holding of bilateral talks.
Oh, I've put that on record for a long time. Yeah. As I say, I even go beyond just the formal bilateral talks. I think that we should make we should try as many ways and as many contacts that we can. Yung mga lahat ng mga Pilipino, halimbawa, na may negosyo sa China, baka yung mga kaibigan nila ng mga mayayaman doon o mga powerful na friends nila doon, baka doon tayo makalapit sa makahanap ng solusyon. O baka yung with the cultural exchanges, you never know when it will start. You have to remember, China, for example, opened diplomacy with the United States with ping pong. O sa ping pong nag-umpisa yung diplomacy na yun. So you never know where it's going to come from.
When it's severely.
But you have to try. I cannot, sitting back And waiting for things to get better by themselves is not for me. Is for me is not a solution.
Going back to the BBL, sir, you filed the substitute bill, and what's the status of that?
We are in the period of interpolation, which means that every day I will stand up and my colleagues in the Senate will ask me questions about the substitute
I
bill.
understand that you're going around the country and conducting consultations with
Well, the consultations we do not talk about the BBL anymore because there's no more BBL. We talk about the basic law on the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region, and for short we call it BL Bar. The BL Bar now is finished. It's closed. Nandyan na yung version. It's only now the senators in the Senate and the congressmen in the House who can make changes to each house's version at this point. Siyempre, lahat naman ng senador, lahat naman ng kongresista nakikinig sa mga tao. At kung sa palagay nila tama yung sinasabi, they bring it up to the plenary discussion. But at the moment, the reason we close the hearing phase is because sa aming palagay, we have conducted sufficient hearings and that we have heard all the important issues that have been raised by all the different stakeholder sectors.
Okay.
When will the
Last question.
when will the UN
When will be?
the United Nations Arbitral Tribunal be able to decide whether it has jurisdiction over the case filed by the Philippine government,
There is no, they have not given us a date.
whether it has jurisdiction?
Yeah, wala silang sinasabi kung kailan sila maglalabas ng desisyon. All right. Okay, thank you.